classic, the growling Triumph TR6.
I forgot just how good these cars are.
Its body is lovely, but the bits underneath need attention. And plenty has to happen before the TR6 will go as good as it looks.
Now, I've had to mark it. Right now, I could only give it a C+.
Ed's removed the head and taken it to a specialist machine shop, where the engineer James is going to fit hardened exhaust valve seats. This will allow the TR6 to run on unleaded fuel.
We strip the head back to its bare casting, and then the valves are removed using a pneumatic valve spring compressor.
Which is the first thing that has to happen before we can start cleaning everything.
It's placed into an industrial-sized washing machine for a long soak in hot soapy water to remove the surface carbon and oil. The head is then placed on an airtight oiled rubber mat to check for any cracks.
So now, James, this is a vacuum test, isn't it? So the idea is to find out whether the head is porous and whether it needs to be repaired or scrapped, or whether it's fine.
That's right, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's pulling up a vacuum now. When the needle stops, we lock the machine off.
OK.
Disconnect the airline from it.
So now if the needle moves, we're in trouble.
We've got a
If it stays
problem.
where it is, we're OK.
Yeah, that's right.
And it looks OK.
Yeah, it's not moving. It's a good cylinder head, good casting.
Result. That's lucky.
To remove any carbon deposits, the valves are cleaned in a media blasting cabinet. The valves are then inspected to make sure the stems are straight. Each valve is then spun on a lathe so it can be cleaned with ultrafine emery paper. The tops are refaced to make sure they sit flush in the head and seal properly.
I have to say, James, to the untrained eye, it looks rather like you're just wobbling our valves around.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if there's excessive clearance between the valve stem and the valve guide, which on your cylinder head there is a little bit too much there. This would cause it to be a little bit smoky.
Because it's just drawing oil in through from the rockers, I guess.
That's right, yeah.
To prevent the engine from burning oil in the future, we're knocking out the old worn valve guides and pressing in new ones. The new valve guides are tapped into position. James uses a vernier depth gauge to check how deep the valve guides go into the head. Too far and the valves might not sit properly. The tolerances are within 1/1000th of an inch. He mounts the head on a cutting machine. These holes are for the new, harder valve seats. Leaded fuel has a cushioning effect as the valves slam into them, so without lead, they need to be tougher. The cutting tool is made from a super hard alloy called tungsten carbide.
So you're now boring a hole into the head. I've noticed you're only doing the exhaust ports. Why are you not doing the inlets as well?
We only do the exhaust because it's only the exhaust that runs hot. The inlet has the cool charge of air and fuel rushing by it, so the seat never gets that hot, really.
Got you. So yeah, so because of that cooling effect, really it's the exhaust, it's all those hot gases going through that's getting warmer, therefore it's more susceptible to wear.
Yeah, that's correct,
Gotcha.
yeah.
The original valve seats are balled out to the correct diameter to make room for the new ones. Here, the new seats are bonded to the head using a super strength ceramic glue and pressed into position.
OK, James, so that means you've got the last of our valve seats in place. Now, these are made out of sintered steel, is that right? So they're much harder than the cast iron. OK, so now they need to be machined, I guess, to match the back of the valves.
Yeah, we just got to finish machining the seats just to